All right, let's get on with the show. My first dream is from Debbie. Now her dream has holes in it because she dreams about people I don't know, or more significantly, I don't know what she thinks of those people that she names in her dream. And I can find out because she submitted the dream as a comment on my YouTube channel. So you can still learn about dreams and my method by listening to the questions that I pose. That I want to know the answer to this, Debbie, so I can give you a better analysis of your dream. And so if you're not sending your dreams into the show, you can do the same thing. It's asking yourself the questions that's really important. To understand a dream fully, we need to understand the context in which it fits within the dreamer's life. So let's have a look. Here's the dream. I was in class and we had to take a board game and come up with new rules and new strategies of winning. Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory was there. I was paired up with an Hispanic guy I did not recognize from real life. I had him use the Happiness board game from the 70s. We both came up with ways to change it. Jude Leak was there too. After we presented it for class, my partner wanted to copyright it as totally his idea. I told him he would have to give me credit too. He balked that most of the ideas were his. I said maybe 60% are yours, but I at least did 40%. You should share the credit. My friends agreed. Then I was going to rent a costume that looked like a normal colourful dress. The drama department was raising money by renting costumes. I remember wearing the dress. I was then on stage with some people, but the curtain was closed. I said something and the audience behind the curtain laughed. Because the curtain was closed, I had no idea they were laughing at what I said. Someone told me they were, and that there were microphones on stage. And that's the end of the dream. So let's go back and figure out what it means. So starts off, I was in class. Well, that's about learning about yourself. And that's why we're here. We're here to learn about ourselves. And we had to take a board game and come up with new rules and new strategies for winning. So this is going to be about you changing the process you're currently using for winning at the game of life. So any game, board game, baseball game, football match, they're all about the game of life. And so you're being told you need new strategies. So in other words, Debbie, what you're doing right now is not working. So don't continue in that vein. Do something better. And it's never going to be worse. They're never going to say, how much you share right now, share less. It's always going to be more. They want you to do more of something positive. You say Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory was there. Not a show I really watch. I know Sheldon, I know the character, but I wouldn't know much about him. So I looked it up, and Sheldon Cooper is a narcissistic, socially awkward, childish, hurtful, naive, selfish, rude, and irrepressible person. Well, of course, he's also an actor, at least played by an actor in reality. So this tells us you're a channel. So this is part of what you're meant to bring into your life, your channeling ability. But it does mean that you've been influenced by a character like Sheldon. So maybe dad is this way. Maybe dad is narcissistic. I say dad, but sometimes men can show up in dreams to represent mom if she's very, very masculine in her approach to life. But I'm going to stick with dad and you'll know which it is. So dream continues. I was paired up with an Hispanic guy I did not recognize from real life. So when you don't recognize a male character in a dream, it means you don't really know your own masculine side. And you need to do some work on that. Figure it out. I mean, this is the beautiful thing about being here on the earth plane. We learn things about ourselves, and they're always good things. We learn by embracing things that we're afraid of, like our shadow self. So we really embrace that, get to know that, and shed light on ourselves, and we turn them into positives. So ultimately, there's nothing negative about us. It's just a perception of something negative. But so here, this dream says, putting a positive spin on it, there's more you can learn about yourself, and that's a good thing. You said, I had him use the Happiness board game from the 70s. I didn't even know that was such a thing. Again, I looked it up, and it says that it is a 2 to 6 players game. They move around the board, shedding their hang-ups and acquiring positive attributes such as love, faith, and friendship. Well, that fits in with what I just said. And that's such a positive game. I'm sure it would almost be certainly rejected by people because we like to hang on to the bad stuff about ourselves, hang on to our conditioning, hang on to our issues. But I love the idea of the game. It reminds me of a friend of mine. He wrote the Grand Design books, and he started a newsletter that was all about positive news that was happening around the world. And he couldn't sell it. He thought it would, like, this would be a newspaper people would be interested in, but they're not. If you have something positive beside another newspaper that says something terrible has just happened, people will buy the lesser one. And that'll tell you where your vibration is, or where the general vibration of people on this planet is. It's towards the negative. Now, our goal in our lifetime, since your game is in this dream is about improving your happiness, is about getting rid of what makes us lean towards the negative and make us lean towards the positive. But I really like that. We both came up with ways to change it. Jude Leake was there too. Like, who's Jude Leake? What do you think about him? I don't know what you think about Sheldon. So it's really what your view of him is, and that's what's important. And I don't know who Jude Leake is. I see that he's a director, and if he's a director, that will always prompt me to channel and ask, is the person who sent this dream in at least a guide? Have they already finished with the earth plane? Because directors, like, are right at the top. They control what people are doing on a set. And if you look at a movie in a dream, or in the set, as being symbolic of people on the stage of life and being told, hey, do this, you're going to learn about yourself by doing this, taking on this role, taking on this challenge, doing these things. Well, the director orchestrates that. And that's what guides do in our lives. Guides from the spirit plane, before we come here, they plan our life. They tell us, like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to step onto the stage of earth, and you're going to play this role as a woman, as a whatever, etc. Fill in all the blanks, and you're going to learn about yourself. And these other characters are going to interact with you, and that's all going to help. You're going to help them. They're going to help you, etc. So when I see a director in a dream, it always prompts me. And so in your case, you are finished with the earth plane. So you are a guide, and you're here to help, which is really cool. But again, what do you think of Jude Leake? If you don't like him, and he's a little bit obscure, I'm thinking, although when I did look up some of the things he did, the word soul showed up. So that really fits in with what I just said. You go after helping people reconnect with their soul. So anyway, after we presented it for my class, my partner wanted to copyright it as totally his idea. I told him he would have to give me credit too. He balked that most of the ideas were his. I said, maybe 60% are yours, but I at least did 40. So, and then you say you should share the credit. My friends agreed. So this is about feeling like relationships are unfair. And I say relationships because you say partner, my partner. And you're saying that because of the way it's symbolically coded here, that you don't get credit for the work you put into a relationship. And because you don't recognize the guy in real life, it's not about a specific relationship, but rather going to be more about your view of them, your takeaway from relationships. And realize, of course, that your takeaway does not have to match reality. For instance, you could be in a great relationship, but still have this view. And that most likely goes back to dad being the way this character is in the dream, or somebody that you've encountered that was significant in your life being that way. It's almost always dad. So I'm going to say dad as we continue on. And because of dad's behavior, you don't give yourself enough credit. And I say that because the figure you argue for is 40%. And 4 is about limitation. So it shows you are willing to put up with limitation in a relationship. Now, that's something you just want to drop. You should never be willing and go in and say, okay, it's not going to be great, so I'm just going to aim low. We don't want to do that. But yeah, all the references to sharing, they're all about the heart, about being open and sharing yourself, how you feel, etc., etc. So then the dream continues. I was going to rent a costume that looked like a normal colorful dress. The drama department was raising money by renting costumes. I remember wearing the dress. So this is like saying, I pay a price when I express my feminine side, because dresses are about feminine side. We all have masculine and feminine. Feminine side is about being nurturing, caring, loving, even spiritual leadership, because you're a guide, so you have spiritual leadership for sure, works through feminine energy, where you have an open and compassionate heart. You allow people to be as they are, and you help them as they are. So you paying a price because you have to pay money to rent this dress. It's not your normal thing. If it is a normal colorful dress, why would you have to rent it? Like, surely you would have that. Wouldn't you have one? So you then say, I was then on stage with some people, but the curtain was closed. So we don't like the curtain being closed. That's, like I said, about the dream is mostly about being open and sharing. And this curtain being closed is the opposite. So you're on the stage, but you're still not putting yourself out there. I said something and the audience behind the curtain laughed because the curtain was closed. I had no idea they were laughing at what I said or at me. Someone told me they were, and that there were microphones on stage. So microphones are another symbol of being a guide. They don't show up that much in dreams. It's like you have a powerful voice if you speak into a microphone. But here we have people laughed at you. So did that happen to you in reality? Because if it did, then it's really significant. And that's what causes you to hold back. You like privacy, or more to the point, you like to be able to express yourself without negative consequences. And that's a catch-22 here, because you also want your expression to mean something. And we know that because you want the drama department to benefit from you wearing their dress. But be careful that your expression is not just an act. Be sure it is the real you. And then the last question I would ask is, how did you feel on waking from this dream? Because that's super important. Because two negatives happened in the dream. But I really like the dream. I think it's a super positive dream. It shows you being at a good stage, because you're not going to be asked to, let's change the rules. Like, let's move into a new way of living, unless you're ready for that. So that means you've finished with one phase of life and are ready. Your higher self, because that's who sends you the dream, has deemed that you're ready now to live life in a different way. And it's going to be a much more positive way. So there we go. I love the dream. Thanks for sending it in. And I will put a comment under it on YouTube to say, hey, it's in this show. Thank you for watching this clip from the Dream Interpretation Podcast. If you want to hear the whole show, there's a link directly under this video. Please like and share with your friends, all of your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast at thedreaminterpretationpodcast.com. That's also where you can submit your dream to the show and have yours featured. You can also download my free dictionary that has thousands of symbols that will help you understand the meaning of your dreams. Thanks for listening.